Shabbat Sholom. I would like to begin this morning by again quoting the first verse of our Haftorah. Adonai uzi u'ma'uzi u'menusi beyom tzara. Adonai is my strength and my stronghold, my refuge in days of trouble. I quote that line because it seems like we live in a recurring reality where that is the only line that can send comfort to the Jewish people. Week after week, something happens that causes us to question everything. Are we in the right place? Is this the right time? Can we say this? Can we say that? How do we make it stop? So I want to share with you a couple of thoughts this morning that I hope will make us reflect not only on what happened in Washington this week, but on everything that's been going on for the past almost 2 years. The Capital Jewish Museum, a place dedicated to telling our story, to talking about our resilience, our contributions, about the relationship between the founding fathers of the United States and the Jewish people, about how George Washington once declared that we were such a special treasure for this country. And he put it in writing, by the way, in a letter that still is on the wall of the Torah Synagogue in Newport, Rhode Island. And yet, no matter what we believe we are, who we are, what we represent, our blood is flowing through the streets, even in our capital city, even in America in 2025. I want to share with you a quote by one of the eyewitnesses inside the museum, a young man by the name of Yoni Kalin. And I quote, he said, "This event was about humanitarian aid. How can we actually help both the people in Gaza and the people in Israel? How can we bring together Muslims and Jews and Christians to work together to actually help innocent people? And then, here, he's just murdering 2 people in cold blood." That sentence, that statement, I think basically illustrates everything that's wrong with Jews in the diaspora today. We are the only people in the world that try to make peace again and again with those who attack us. We try to have compassion for those who murder our children. You know, we sit on interfaith seders, on multi-religious panels. We embrace the imams and the priests and the Baha'i leaders and the Wiccan witches. For what? I want to know, how many calls did we get after Washington? Maybe on a personal level we did. But as Jewish professionals, I can tell you, no one called. Again, this is not new. We are the only people in the world that seek logic and understanding while staring down the barrel of a gun. There's a beautiful statement in the Midrash Tanchuma that says, "Amerachem al achzarim, sofo leitchazer al arachamim." He who is merciful to the cruel would end up being cruel to the merciful. And I wanted to remember those words. Really? We were here in this museum to find a solution for the poor, starving children in Gaza. Do we really believe that they care? They don't even care about their own children. Why should they care what we think about their children? Much less about what we think about our own children. This is a growing asymmetry. Every time Jews respond to hate. We take out the op-eds, we take out the full-page ads, we put on the blue pins, we take out the billboards. Who cares? We are the only idiots in the world that do that. Because we don't understand. We want to be like everybody else. We want to be citizens of the world. We want to be included. We want to be universal. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. We want to show them that by showing kindness to them, maybe they'll show kindness to us. Not going to happen. After all these years, it hasn't happened yet. It won't happen tomorrow. Every time we have the vigils, the thoughts and prayers, the coming together, what do we accomplish? We speak to an echo chamber. This morning I'm speaking to an echo chamber. Because all of you know how I feel. I know how you feel. But we still have to let it out. There is no virtue, dear friends. There is no virtue in making a teachable moment out of trauma. We have to remember that. We insist of dressing up our pain as some sort of morality that we have to share with the world. We believe that this is what being a light unto the nations is really about, and it's not. Because a light that cannot defend itself and keep itself lit will eventually flicker out. Everything that we do feels like spiritual busy work. Spiritual busy work. Ask any Jewish professional. You know, I have friends that after October 8th and October 7th suffered heart attacks, went into clinical depression, because we didn't know how to confront the hate. I see Jewish professionals left and right saying, I cannot take this anymore. Instead of doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing with my community, I spent my days thinking about how they hate us and how to protect us. And the way to protect ourselves is by protecting ourselves. Not by telling them we want to save you too. That will not happen. Tachon al shavim be'lo al sheinam shavim, the Midrash says. Have compassion on those who are capable of understanding repentance, not on those who are incapable of repenting. It's really unbelievable. We have fallen again and again these past 2 years into the models of the 1990s and the 1980s in the Jewish community. Polite, beautiful responses, holding hands, lighting candles. Did that stop Washington from happening? Now, let me just make one thing clear. We do not glorify violence. Judaism does not glorify violence. But by God's sake, we have to defend ourselves. We cannot be sitting ducks. And sometimes it feels to me that we enjoy being sitting ducks. And if, God forbid, somebody speaks out, it's taken as a political statement. You know, we have a model on how to react to all of this. And before I tell you about that model, let me tell you about my lunch with a friend of mine a couple of days ago. This wonderful soul, whose parents are Holocaust survivors, says to me, I really don't know what I would have done in 1935, 1936 in Germany. Would I have stayed? Would I have left? I feel like I'm living in the same moment right now. And my answer right away to him was, hold on. Back then, we didn't have a model on how to defend ourselves. Because this has happened before. And they will never stop attacking us. Remember 1948, 5 Arab armies at the same time. We survived. 1956, Israel stood strong. 1967, Israel defeated its enemies. 1973, pain and sweat and tears. We did it again. And we don't cower. And we don't say, don't shoot at us. Let's talk. Let's have an interfaith center. You know, my colleagues in this community criticize me a lot because I don't go to interfaith activities. I believe it's a waste of time. If you don't have the human compassion to pick up the phone and call a fellow clergy when something happens to his or her people, come on. What am I going to do sitting at the same table with them? Why should I? By the way, like Daniel said, what's the percentage of Jews in the world? What? 0.2%. So you would think that when something happens to one of us, people would understand how much it hurts. We need to learn the lesson that Israel has learned. The only way that this stops is through strength. The only reason why we have peace with Egypt and Jordan, and now with the Emirates, and maybe one day with Saudi Arabia, is because of the strength of the state of Israel. I know you don't want to hear this, because we want to hear the stories of how we all get along with our neighbors and sing Kumbaya and fade into the sunset. But that's not going to happen. In Spain, remember, Jews were poets, philosophers, astronomers. They were physicians. And then 1492 came. In Germany, we were scientists and judges and professors and loyal citizens. And then 1933 came. And in America, October 8th, 2023 came. I'm not talking about October 7th. I'm talking about October 8th. The day that programmed and financed anti-Semitism invaded our country and our streets and our colleges. It's time for us to wake up. I am so proud. There's one ray of sunshine that I remember in this whole saga. The Jews at UCLA who fired firecrackers at the encampment and went out there and confronted them. That was incredible. Again, not to justify violence, but standing up to our enemies is Torah too. Ubacharta b'chaim, choose life, our tradition says. Choose life. We have to use our intelligence to choose life. Let me tell you a quick story, and I hope I'm not boring you to death, but I have to get this out of my system. Rosh Hashanah. By the way, there's a tendency in the Jewish community that everything a rabbi says or a Jewish professional says is political. So let me start from the end part of this. A couple of days ago, somebody said to me, Rabbi, I love your sermon. You must be one of us. I said, what do you mean by that? He says, you must be a conservative. I said, no, not really. Oh, are you with the other people on the left? I said, no, I'm not. I'm with the Jews. I'm with the Jewish people. And that's what no one seems to understand. I stood up here in Rosh Hashanah, and I dared criticize the Biden administration for not allowing Israel to bomb Iran, and to invade Rafah. Some people clapped, some people called me, some people got up and left, some people still don't forgive me. Some people went to another synagogue for Kol Nidre and literally told me, oh, the rabbi in the Reform synagogue, he doesn't say any political stuff, he just doesn't say anything. I said, okay, it's your choice. But now I'm telling you now, we have to be on the side of the Jewish people. We cannot be on the side of politics, right? Taking a $400 million plane from the people that finance anti-Semitism in this country? I am with the Jewish people, and so should all of us be with the Jewish people. We shouldn't have a political ideology that is greater than our peoplehood. Shame on us for playing your anti-Semite is better than my anti-Semite. Let's stand in the center of things and watch as history spins around us without us having learned nothing at all. We have to stop trying to be the world's favorite minority. That's not going to happen. We have to stand up for ourselves, our friends. And that means, doesn't matter who it is in the White House, doesn't matter they're left or right, or we have to be with the Jewish people. So I ask you today, let us mourn from those we've lost. It was a very tough week. But let us resolve with open hearts and with open eyes to change our posture. Not our values, just our posture. To resolve for once that we are nobody's stepping mat. That we don't have to be liked. That ship has sailed. Let us be clear that Jewish dignity is non-negotiable. That Jewish life is not cheap. That Jewish blood is also red. Let us be clear that never again really means never again. It's not just a slogan. History is watching us. What am I going to say to my grandchildren? What did I do? How did I speak out? History is watching us. And the next chapter is ours to write. Shabbat Shalom.